Good day, good day. It's the Prairie Banana over on PulseChain, the occupied chain, occupied by the Gray's currencies. Fixing my collar. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a Spaces call on my phone, which is up to my mic. You guys can put comments in the comment box. I'm hearing an echo. It's me. I'm hearing it on my... Hold on a second. I got to find out where that's coming from. I'll just turn the volume down. I guess I don't need that, but it's going to interrupt with the, it'll disrupt the, what do you call it? The audio on you guys' end. So I'm probably sounding pretty shabby right now, but that's just the audio. Hold on a second. Oh, help me find this. And we'll jump in Spaces here in a second. We're not live in Spaces yet anyhow. Give me a second, guys. I'm hearing myself out of the speaker, and that is not cool. That's never really, I don't know if that's ever happened before. Good morning, everybody. I don't know if that's ever happened before. That may be on Spaces that I'm hearing that. So just bear with me as that may be on Spaces that I'm hearing that. So as I figure this out. I've got way too many tabs open. I'm going to turn that down, jump in, and then I'll continue searching for this open audio tab. Good morning. Make sure my volume's up on my phone. Yep.
What's up, Banana?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Another day.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm doing good, except for I have some audio coming out. I'm hearing our Spaces. It's coming from YouTube. Actually, yeah, it could be coming from YouTube or X. And I can turn my speakers down so I don't hear it, but then it's going to disrupt the feed up to YouTube. It'll make the audio choppy. So I've got to find it. And I'm looking for it.
Yeah, it's weird that, it works every time and then randomly kind of starts getting a little buggy.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever experienced this before. It's I think this is the first. I found it. Oh yes. Whew. All right, let me just check that speaker. Yeah, okay, we're good, man. Woo.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, now I got to get my desktop set up back to the way it was. So, and you're doing good?
Yeah, doing good. Cheap prices on pTGC and UFO right now.
Yeah, I haven't even checked yet today. I've got to jump in there and look. What is it now? Is it in the 7s?
I think it's in the 7s. It's, I think, 22 mil market cap on pTGC, which, I think we've gotten down this year to around 19, maybe even a little bit lower, but also ratio against PLS is at 10 or a little above 10. So for me, I think those are both really, really solid ranges if you're looking for DCA or onboarding.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would agree. I mean, it wasn't but like, see, this is May, 4 to 6 months ago, we were in the 6s in ratio,
Yeah, no, definitely a couple of months ago, right? Pretty much when the affiliate system went live, we were we were in the sixes in ratio, and then went all the way up to, I think, 15, 16. And then I think we're just kind of having a little bit of consolidation period because the market's not really doing anything.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I was on X before the stream, and I saw something going down in DC, but I don't know if it was clickbait or not. But I guess the president was being rushed back to the White House or whatever, and it could have been a nothing burger. But I was going to try to find out what was going on. But if anybody has an idea, I'd be interested to hear it.
Yeah, I know nothing about that.
Now here I am spreading a rumor, guys. I'll say it. I'll say it again. I don't know if there was anything to it, but usually what I'll do is I'll go to like a Watcher Guru and look at it. Somebody says Taiwan. Let me search on X for Watcher Guru and see if they've posted anything. Okay, here we go. No, nothing. So anyhow,
you might have the news before them.
Perhaps. I'm going to greet the people in the chat. Yeah, on YouTube. We got David. It shows up every time. He's like faithful. He jumps in before we go live. Shaka Vibes. It's good to see you, man. Christopher Reeves. He says, "Good morning, Chief." Good morning, Revo. Walter's in there, of course. Travis. Thomas Bankston. Fishing with Camo Joe. Look at all these guys on YouTube. Zen. Isn't that amazing? Conspiracy Crypto. Revo 48. Dicky 1980. How come we have so many people on YouTube today? Free X Band. Been a while since I've seen you. I think maybe I saw you 2 weeks ago. He's like, let's go. Super Snake. Good to see you back, man. Super Snake's been hanging around a lot. And Crypto Durgan. Good morning. Thanks, guys, for everything you do. Well, we appreciate you guys being here. That means a lot. Not that you or I are a Hollywood showboats or anything, but it is meaningful when people show up, isn't it?
100% makes it worth our time, and I think it also brings new people in. The more engagement we get, the more people viewing. Even if you're just hanging out listening, you've heard it all before. The more people we have here, is the more likely we are to get new people in here.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just commenting to you, Zen, the other day. I says, everything is so slow right now, and it has been for a while. But I can picture a time, guys, when in the future there's going to be 500 people in these spaces, or 1,000 people in these spaces, and you guys are here early, and so you're the OGs. You're gonna be the ones that are here in the beginning, hearing these early on conversations, these pre-penny, pre-10 cent, pre-dollar conversations. And so I'm excited for you guys that are here now, because I can see our spaces. If we really get up to those numbers, and we remain consistent doing these spaces twice a week, or whatever consistency we might revert to if we need to at some point, whatever, I can truly see our spaces becoming very large.
Yeah, even looking at last cycle, TZ made an interesting point. 2 cycles ago now, like when we had a good alt season bull run, TZ talked about how he picked up, I think, millions of followers. And then he was making the point like, hey, I don't even really think we had a real bull run this last cycle, especially in alt tokens, because I think he said, like, I barely picked up 100,000 followers in the last year. And he was just kind of bringing up, like, even though we had some good price movement up on specific alt tokens in Bitcoin, Ethereum didn't do anything crazy. The majority of alt tokens didn't do anything crazy. besides like short little pump and dumps and stuff like that. And he said like there was no real retail that came into crypto, right? And I couldn't agree more. I feel like we did get some gains, we got some growth, we got a mini alt season, but it wasn't like a big enough alt season to actually get the retail into cryptocurrency. So, because things are slow, because last cycle there wasn't that massive inflow, I feel like it's all building up to hopefully an awesome run whenever the markets turn back in our favor. And, I personally do think that the alt seasons won't be as big as they were 2 cycles ago. I think that was a very, very massive cycle. Like you could throw money in anything and get solid X's, like literally anything. I think the industry is changing. But that being said, I think we're due for a way better cycle than we had last time.
100%. Yes, I'm with you. I keep hearing the term, not keep, but because you got to use some of these terms very carefully, but like super cycle, and I've heard it a few times over the last few years, and I wouldn't be surprised, man. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I don't even know if you could call it a super cycle at this point. Like we had 9 months of red candles on Ethereum. Like that's pretty much a bear market in my opinion. I think there's just, some buildup there that because we didn't get new all-time highs, we have a situation where people who have bought Ethereum for like the last 6 years, like a good chunk of them are not in profits, right? Like when you look at the chart and you look at 6 years, if you've been DCAing for the last 6 years, it's being in crypto for a decent amount of time, you're not up. And I feel like that's a huge tell of, there's a lot of users being bought out of their positions in early days. There's a distribution process going on, and there's a lot of people that want to see these things go higher. And eventually those do break. And when we do start to go higher, we've bought out a ton of people who had early bags. It's very similar as with pTGC, right? Like you don't see what's going on sometimes, but that distribution process that's been going on Ethereum, distribution process that's going on pTGC, with these sustainable tokens, right? You can't really say this for most tokens because most tokens have no community, no utility, no sustainability. But for the ones that will actually last, this process is necessary to go to the next level.
Yeah, man. We'll be going to the next level, man. We'll be going. So I think what's happening in the news is that like all commercial aircraft flights have been diverted around Iran, and you can see it because you know how you can watch where aircraft are live. Well, I'm watching a video on X, and you can see all the flights going around Iran, and so they're thinking that there is a sort of bombing campaign gonna happen. And then this gentleman on X 11 hours ago, he says, and this is Ryan Rosbiani, he says, the last time the White House Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino posted a video of B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, the U.S. struck Iran the next day, and he just posted it again tonight. So sounds like we're going to be, have we dropped any bombs on Iran yet? I mean, this will be a big thing if we haven't. Well, it's no wonder that Bitcoin is down to 75,000. And if you're new to crypto, and you can weigh in on this too, Zen, but I see these, it's almost like a micro burst down. Some kind of news is released, and then crypto tanks, and you think, oh, it's going to 40,000 or whatever. And the next, it takes a couple of days usually, and it's just right back where it was. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I've seen this repeatedly. It's almost as dependable as token launches, goes to the moon. Everybody thinks it's the next Bitcoin, and then it crashes. It's just one of those, it's a psychological thing. Super Snake says next week is going to be nuts for the global markets. Kevin Warsh sworn in as the Fed chair. You are not bullish enough. Let's go, Super Snake.
Hey, 1 second. I have someone pulling up the driveway. Let me see what it's about.
Okay, you got to get your firearm out, man. Baseball bat. So, one thing I want to do. How is let's see, SW6744? Oh, you're. I try to not post you guys' chat back and forth to each other because it's kind of sort of private. But just so you know, anything that goes in that comment box is subject to being posted live on YouTube. Hey, you guys can always put private if you really want it to be private. You can do that. Keep just say private dash make your comment. That's a good idea. And if you're trying to get my attention, put everything in caps, especially whenever the market gets really hot. We're gonna have a lot of people not only on Spaces but in YouTube. And if you're trying to reach me, put it all in caps. Like if I miss your stuff, okay? So what's the volume on pTGC today? Let me unshare my screen. And I was not able to find my tab that has all of my.
I'm back, Banana, just so you know.
Okay. I'm going to look at the volume. I'm going to shoot a guess that we're at between $30,000 and $40,000 in volume right now. Let's see how correct I am. 37,000. 37,000. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right in line with pretty much your average for the last 30 days.
Yep. $22 million market cap. Dude, if this thing is going to the billions, as we think it is, all indications show that it's going into the billions. Everything is indicating that this thing is going into not just a billion, more. This smacks of opportunity, big time. I was just thinking this morning, I've been talking about leaving some for your heirs as an inheritance. And I was thinking this morning, this is an opportunity. I'm not ready to do it yet, but my children, one already holds, the other two do not. One has a wallet, the other one has no clue. But I am going to gift my children probably 1 million pTGC each. My thought is, I'm just thinking out loud, I'm probably going to wait until it's worth about 10 grand, which is going to be a penny. I don't want to do it too early because we're still in a trial phase. But I think once we get to a penny, I think it'll be much more clear that this is for real because we believe all this stuff is going to unfold almost by faith. We have not seen it happen yet, but 1 million to each of my heirs on a wallet, and I gift it to them, right? As a minimum, this is part of your inheritance, right? And then what that does is, I want to give it to them now so they can watch it grow, but there's going to be a lot of growth after a penny. So you give it to them when it's me. I'm going to give it to them when it's worth a penny or so. This is my thought now. It might change. And then they have the opportunity to watch it grow, but also watch the APY build up, and it'll be an exercise for them because you don't want to just give people money. It's more important to equip them to make money, right? So if they can watch it grow, if they can watch the APY build up and learn to not spend the principal and just use the APY for whatever they want. Hey, man, if this thing goes to the numbers we've been seeing in the calculators, that 1 million pTGC is going to be throwing off some incredible APY, and it could set them up to, pay for their vehicle, pay for their house, pay for their entire lifestyle. Who knows? But that's kind of what I'm thinking at this time. Just having those thoughts this morning.
Yeah, 100%. Right now I feel like we're very, very suppressed from ETH and PulseChain. You know, I think PulseChain is very much being suppressed by Ethereum. You know, I think no one would have thought that Ethereum pretty much wouldn't have made an all-time high last cycle. It did, but by dollars, you know, nothing crazy. And now it's back to a 60% dip from the previous cycle's all-time high, which, you know, is just not what a lot of people thought was going to happen to Ethereum. A lot of people thought Ethereum was going to have more growth, more sustainable growth than Bitcoin. But that's where we're at and where PulseChain's at. And that's suppressing the price. But I personally do not think that price on PulseChain and price on Ethereum is going to be suppressed forever. I think that we're going to get some good adoption to Ethereum in the next couple of years. You can see institutions, governments, companies all building on top of Ethereum, which I think is going to bring it demand not only for.
We lost you, man.
Even more of a well-known name.
You're gonna.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You were talking about demand.
I just think it's going to become more of a well-known long-term play amongst big players, places where they can actually store value.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I feel like people are having a hard confidence, like they're not having the confidence to store value in Ethereum because it hasn't been a good play the last 5 years compared to a lot of other things like gold and stocks and Bitcoin. It's been underperformer. So right now that confidence is lacking, but that confidence can change in 6 months, right? If it can just start moving in the right direction again, I think that confidence is going to restore, and that's going to be great for PulseChain. And the numbers we're running, because we know what this machine does when prices of the things we're bonded to start increasing, like PulseChain increasing, PulseX increasing, and let's be honest, we're at super, super low levels on all the RH tokens. If those can just make their way back towards some of the levels we've seen before, nothing crazy, I have no doubt in my mind that those numbers that you're talking about are very easily achievable. And once those levels achieve, it's that flywheel effect. Getting to that next level is even easier because we're not generating $10,000 a week in revenue. We could be easily generating $100,000 a week in revenue. And then after that point, we could be generating 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. So I feel like it's about kind of creating that foundation wherever that foundation lies, like where we are right now at a 20 mil market cap, and just doing what we know works. And eventually these things are going to increase. Eventually we're going to have a market uptick in cryptocurrency, and we'll go to that next level, and then we'll build there, build there, build there. Because the nice thing is we have the math in our side every single day. 99.9% of protocols, while the protocol ticks day in, day out, it's never actually making steps in the right direction. A lot of them actually are making steps in the wrong direction, like inflationary systems and stuff like that. But every day here, you know, we know the market's going to move up and down, some days more than others. Right now, PulseChain has been not moving up and down pretty much at all. It's been sitting around this level for a few months. Nothing really, no volume flowing through the chain. It's probably, as far as user adoption, everything the worst it's ever been. But we're still ticking along. We're still making steps in the right direction. That foundation's still growing. You know, we recently added hours of ETH. We have, I think, like $50,000 in the Dow Treasury and a mix between PLS and stables. Like, our foundation is getting very, very strong. Our community's been growing rapidly. Obviously, we want to keep growing it, but we will get that turnaround. And when we get that turnaround, I think the machine's going to wake up. Everyone's going to be reminded what this thing did last cycle. And even if they're not reminded, the machine's just going to put in the work for us and do a lot of the heavy lifting that most other protocols don't have on their side. And for me, that brings confidence, right? We have a tool here that the competition just doesn't have with them, and they pretty much can't get it with them, right? They don't have the code and the utility set up and the LP set up like we do. So it's just a huge advantage once that market finally does tick around. And when it does tick around, the longer we spend down here, truthfully, the better. You know, the foundation is just getting stronger and stronger. Someone in our Telegram chat took last cycle and like put it into this cycle because he was seeing a very common trend. And showing was like, hey, pretty much this summer, it's relatively flat. Crypto's relatively flat. But going towards the end of summer, like July, predicting that we're going to have similar movements as the last time we moved up, which was an 80x around that same time period. It was a slow summer, volume kind of slowed down.
Yes.
Price went to lows, not all-time lows, but like local lows. And from that point on, we did a massive move all the way to a 400 mil market cap with technically not 1x from the blockchain that we're built on. It did like a 3x in that time period, but it only went to the same price that pTGC launched at. The point being is we got very little growth PulseChain in that event.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at a new stage with a new foundation, with better distribution, with more burnt supply, with more LP, with a reserve this time. We didn't even have reserves back then because we were still in such early stages. And PulseChain's 5x lower than it was that last time, 10x lower from, the prices that we were when we were hitting those all-time highs on PulseChain. So I just feel like we're very, very set up for whenever these things go, we have the opportunity to make some massive moves and sustain those moves to the best of our ability. And like you said, get this protocol to a penny, get this protocol to 10 cents, and just slowly grind it up throughout, as long as PulseChain's alive is the goal. If PulseChain's alive 50 years, well, that's the goal. If PulseChain's alive 100 years, well, that's the goal. And you can never turn it off. It will never go away. It will never stop doing what it's designed to do.
Yeah, man. So Travis makes a good point. He says, 1 cent is when FOMO starts, and this machine actually turns into a beast. The code is too good. And Super Snake, he achieved his shark status. Yay, good job. He's now stacking UFO. So, and a buddy of mine, he achieved shark status in pTGC and UFO just this week. And he and I have been chatting for like, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 months. And I know that he's been every now and again, like getting another little dolphin position. And I remember a long time ago, he's like, man, if I could ever be a shark, that would just be amazing. Well, he finally did it this week in both UFO and pTGCs. I'm just so happy for him.
You have a buddy too that became a dolphin in both this week as well.
Yes. Yep. And he's a double dolphin in UFO too. He actually doubled up. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's, dude, one thing about UFO is like the machine that if you believe in PulseChain, right? Like if you look at the LP of UFO, it's not surprising that UFO is so far down. Like the LP is so heavily tied with RH tokens, Hex, PulseX, Pulse, Inc, eHex even. Like it's not surprising. Look where PulseChain is. Look at where all of its LP has been dragged down to. It is in such a discount zone right now. It's like 22x away from its all-time high. If you remote that this blockchain will be successful, you can take advantage of a really powerful store value tool at super cheap prices. If you don't believe in PulseChain, I understand. Like, like it's a tough environment. But if you're someone here, I believe you believe in PulseChain, and you can expose yourself to a 4 mil market cap token with $2 million of liquidity that is 22x away from its all-time high, that is hyper deflationary, that has built-in APY for holding, very similar to pTGC, but you're getting pretty much the same size positions as pTGC, very similar structure as far as mechanics go. A little bit smaller of a community, more people push pTGC. A lot of the onboards go to pTGC first, but the point is you can get these size positions for like almost a tenth of the cost, maybe like a seventh of the cost. And for some people, that's a big deal. Like there's a lot of people out there that like searching those smaller market caps because they want to own more percentage of the supply of something. That doesn't mean you're going to get more X's or anything, but it's just a mental thing for a lot of people that they want to get that shark position instead of the dolphin position. Or this is a crazy one, like instead of getting a shark position in pTGC, they might be able to pull off a whale position in UFO.
Yeah, man. What's a
For
whale?
A little bit more, but it's, you know, it's a little bit more than a pTGC shark, but it's, I feel like a pTGC whale is very, very difficult to obtain at this point. It's like $300,000, but a UFO shark is I think $40,000. And yes, that is difficult to obtain in a bear market for sure, just because energy is low. But dude, we saw it last cycle. People were throwing 400K into UFO and pTGC like it was going out of style. It's obviously easier in an uptrend to get that than in a downtrend and in a flat moment. But the opportunity is there for the people who want to take advantage. You could even step one position down. Let's say, instead of a dolphin position in pTGC, let's say you instead look for a shark position in UFO, which is only $4,000 right now.
Right. So a whale position would be $43,000 in UFO. And there's another gentleman. Let me get this comment too. There's another gentleman that also got his shark position in pTGC this week. I'm not this week, but this year. On Super Steak, I love this, man. He says, I'm just getting used to top ramen and ketchup. I know what you're getting at, dude. You're talking about making a sacrifice now to enhance your future. And I love that, man. I'm doing the same thing. And I have been doing that for 5. I'm trying not to emphasize it. I've been doing it for 5 years, man. But yeah, man, I love seeing these people stacking up these tokens. I mean, a shark in pTGC is gonna be something. The thing of it is, the more of these tokens you hold, think of it, the more of an impact you can make on other people. And if you're let's say everybody thinks they're a good person, right? But I mean, if you're a decent human being and you hold these tokens, you're almost like keeping them out of the hands of people that perhaps want to do, negative things with the tokens, with their wealth and such. That's how I look at it, man. I'm like, I don't want to sell. Who am I selling to, man? What's he going to do with these tokens? I want these tokens to be in the hands of somebody that's going to treat them well and do benevolent things in this world with those tokens. You know what I'm saying?
100%, right? Like during this bear market, like it's, for me, very important to focus on onboarding what you believe would be like a great community member, or someone who understands, hodling your bag long term, not only because that's good for the protocol, but we believe that's going to be good for them too. We believe that multi-cycle, this system is going to become massive. And, someone might be able to pull off a 50X, but a 50X, yes, life-changing. Does it technically make your family and generations of your family completely financially free? For most size bags, probably not. But let's say by the following cycle, it comes out to be.
You said
probably hit some crazy high numbers.
Yep. It's going to come down to who can hodl.
And this was very similar with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? There's plenty of people who made tons of money on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the people who hodled most multi-cycle, they're sitting super good. Even with Ethereum doing not so hot the last cycle, they're still sitting so good because they gave their speculative asset the time to become one of the best store of values that exists in the last decade.
Yep. Travis says, 26 people in the YouTube. We have a great community. This is just the start. Yeah, agreed. I love our community.
I wanted to go back to what you were saying though about the like getting the tokens in the strong hands. And one thing that I always kind of pay attention to is when we talk about these position sizes, which these position sizes are really, really cheap right now because PulseChain has come down 10x from its sacrifice price plus. Where if PulseChain was at, let's say, a little bit closer to sacrifice price, let's say half of sacrifice price, these positions would not be anywhere near this cheap. That's the truth.
100%.
So right now, during this bear market, these size positions have been drastically devalued for an opportunity for the people who are paying attention. And this is where I think the PulseChain community as a whole has a huge advantage over the rest of the world, is we actually have the ability to scoop pTGC, UFO, RH tokens, and any other good asset on this chain at these cheap prices, because the revaluation could happen at any moment, and the ability to get 10 amount of these tokens, whatever one you think is going to be successful, can disappear super quick. And with like a shark position, right? I always like to look at like, well, how many shark positions can actually even exist in a token? It's only 1,000, right? There's only 1,000 shark positions in a token. Right off the bat, you know you can't just have 1,000 sharks, because there's going to be some whales, there's going to be some users that have multiple sharks, there's going to be dolphins, there's going to be squids, there's going to be turtles, etc. So how many sharks actually can of a single token? I think within pTGC, we have roughly 100 sharks, and there's only 30 more ENLP even for sale.
That sounds about right.
You got yourself up. Say that again.
I was saying that sounds about right.
Yeah, and UFO is very similar, right? Because it's all about where that token distribution is ending up, and it pretty much ends up usually the same in all of these speculative tokens. And as time goes on, sharks will drop into more dolphins and more dolphins and more squids, etc. But at this stage, this is kind of where you're at, are able to get a shark position in pTGC or a shark position in UFO. You're part of a group of like roughly only 100 users. Maybe 200 could exist, most likely not. And that's with the entire world, right? Right now, the entire world isn't paying attention to PulseChain. The entire world isn't paying attention to pTGC. And does the entire world ever pay attention to PulseChain? Who knows? But I do think the amount of people that know about it now compared to the future is going to change drastically. But if you lock in those positions now and you can hodl that back, you're part of a group of users that only like 200 can ever exist.
100%, man. And these are not small positions. I mean, not only are they inexpensive, but these are, I mean, you're talking about a shark. A shark position it's a 0.1% of the total supply of a fixed supply asset that is constantly not depreciating, that is constantly being deflated. A shark position going to be big.
Decreasing.
Yep.
Every single day.
Yep. And the dolphins, the squids, I really think that those positions are going to be big time. I mean, I'm talking about giving just $1 million. It's $75 for 1 million tokens right now. $75. Who doesn't have $75 in their wallet or in their sock drawer, man? And just think about this. There are people that are going to come over onto PulseChain and land on pTGC. They got $1 million laying around in their sock drawer, and they're going to be buying pTGC, pumping the price.
Yeah, I think that comment on your YouTube fits that category perfectly, right? When we hit a penny pTGC, that's where FOMO is going to start to kick in, right? As we grow through these stages, we're going to become appetizing to different style investors. Right now, we're still super speculative. We're on a brand new blockchain. You can see it with the bridge. There's not a lot of people coming into PulseChain right now with $1 million. But as PulseChain starts to turn around and shows the proof of concept and the fact that you can actually store value here and it can appreciate over time, that value will start to make its way onto this chain. And I believe pTGC is going to be one of the most appetizing places for that value to land because of its deflationary mechanism, because of the built-in APY that can never be turned off, because of the fact that we have a strong community and a strong mascot, the fact that we actually generate revenue from outside sources and bring it into the specific asset. Like I personally think if we can get a change in morale and a change of just changing from being a downtrend and going to an uptrend on PulseChain as a whole, there's large amounts of value that want to find a product like this. We just need to break that trend that we're on right now. Even pTGC has been on a downtrend technically for a year and a half. We just need to break this downtrend as a community, and that goes for PulseChain as a whole because a lot of that downtrend is fun. But if we can break that, there's people who have tons of value who are looking for products like this. And I would not be at all surprised because we saw it last cycle with $500,000 clips, people wanting to be exposed to products like this, people wanting to store value in products like this, to get the X's, to get the APY, to be in something that there will never be more supply, something that's actually revenue generating, not just a token on the blockchain that truly doesn't need to exist at all. And there's a lot of value flowing throughout crypto in places that don't respect it. And they're looking to find those projects that will respect it, not just with promises, but with code itself.
Yep, absolutely. SW says, somewhat counterintuitively, the bigger the fish position you have, the easier it is to hold. Yeah, that's true. Extra Crypto says,
I agree with that too, right? Like that idea, if you have, let's say, 2 shark positions or 2 dolphin positions, I feel like everyone has, in a way, like an exit plan for a portion of their bag. If that's their pTGC bag, or maybe it's like their entire cryptocurrency bag, like they have some bills they want to pay off or something they maybe want to get IRL. But if you have more than that number in cryptocurrency, well, then you can kind of play with the rest as like a form of house money or something that you're willing to see out very long term. But if you have, let's say, $10,000 in crypto and your goal is to cash $1 million out by the end of the cycle, well, you need 100x. And if $10 only gets there, you might have to cash out your whole entire bag. But
yes.
If, let's say, you double down around here, turn $10,000 into 20,000, you do the same amount of X's, well, now you're actually able to keep half of your bag still in cryptocurrency multi-cycle and still get the things you want. Obviously, a lot of people don't have that ability to DCA, but I do think there is a strategy that you can put forward that's a combination of, this is my long-term bag, something I want to see out 10 years. This is my mid-term bag, maybe 5 years. This is my short-term bag, this cycle, and kind of create that game plan. And if you can put that value in something that has reflexivity that can do X's over other tokens on the chain, X's over PulseChain, like this is where last cycle, a lot of people made massive gains than just not sitting only in PulseChain. If you only sat in PulseChain, your value went down for the whole entire cycle. But if you move that value to something that could do X's over it, let's say you had $10,000 on PulseChain and then you just held it. Well, that $10,000 pretty much was decreasing the whole entire cycle. But if you were able to move that $10,000 into pTGC, at certain points, you're pulling off like 20 X's, 30, 50 X's, 10 X's, 5 X's, depending on where you got in. And that's massive, where you could have very easily done no X's. So moving forward, have value on chain, and you got to look at where it's sitting. is that value in something that's going to do massive amounts of X's potentially this cycle, or is it a little bit more modest? Usually it makes sense to go at the bottom of the bear, to go risk on. So you go, let's say, from a gas token into a sub alt token that you think can outperform it. And then when you're near tops, it's usually best to either rotate into stables, rotate back into gas token with a portion of your support, of your position. Because let's say pTGC does a 10x over PulseChain this cycle, and PulseChain does a 10x. Well, in pTGC, you would have 100x. So to get your same shout or get your same, you could even just sell 10% of your position and pay yourself back all your PLS. There's a lot of different ways to play it. I know last cycle, the users who took action near the lows on pTGC with a portion of their bag, or if they DCA'd or they used dry capital, massively changed their portfolio. Massively. They 10 times increased their portfolio by putting their value on chain into a specific protocol that respects their value and tries to increase their value with not only a community, but with code itself too.
Yep. I wish I had bought more. I wish I had bought more in 2024. But I am thankful that I was able to buy what I did. And I dollar cost average, and I'm shocked at how much I stacked up just by dollar cost averaging. And
imagine, and maybe you don't want to even say this, but if you feel comfortable, imagine if you didn't make that move, what those tokens you did that swap for, or if that was fiat, what those would be worth at this point.
You mean the tokens? Because I did do a swap. And the timing was.
So you swapped from one cryptocurrency to another cryptocurrency.
I swapped.
You didn't come in dry capital, or?
Yes, I swapped from another chain. I brought it. I mean, I made some really good gains, and I was like, well, if there's ever a time, I'm doing it, man. And I leveled up my bag, and I'm so thankful that I did that I made that move. I took action. It took a little bit of guts, but for me, the move
definitely does. Especially when things are red. It's hard to make the moves when things are red, but this is the time where you got to make those moves to make the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's difficult. Let's see. We do have some comments.
So you're saying that you're kind of up on an alt token, the decision to rotate gains over into pTGC. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was up, and it's a token that I still hold a portion of. I did not sell all of it because it's something that it's a project that I have a strong, firm belief in, but it doesn't. I don't know that it's deflationary or not, but I know it doesn't pay APY. It's not pTGC. The more and more the longer I'm in crypto Zen, the longer I'm seeing that pTGC is that, like, there's nothing like it. Of course, I'm removing myself in this journey. I'm removing myself from a lot of crypto. And I don't know what all is out there, but pTGC is the cat's meow, man. I don't know if there's anything except for maybe some real world assets, that I might want to, get a 10 or 100x on. pTGC is it, man. And I'm just seeing that more and more as I go on in this journey. Now, there is a comment on YouTube I want to get to. Travis says, we managed to do hundreds of X's against a falling blockchain, pretty much paddling against a downstream river. What happens when the river turns around and PulseChain pumps? This could get scarily crazy. 100%. And I definitely want to lean into this one. Super Snake says 4.25 billion coins. Let's see. 4.25 billion tokens gets you into the top 25 holders for UFO, not counting all the LPs. It's an easy 3 to 4x. These positions will be totally out of reach for normie investors. Yes, Super Snake, in due time, those positions will be out of reach. And a guy can pick up $4.25 billion UFO right now for $20,000. So you want to be in the top 25? $20,000. Oh, would the top 250 suit you? I'm happy with top 250, man. Imagine being in the top 250, knowing where these tokens are going. $2,000. $2,353 gets you in the top 50 UFO. Yeah, man.
Sorry, I got a little confused there. You're saying to get in the top 50 or top 250 is $2,000?
$20,000 to get in the top 25, which would be
for UFO.
Yep, for UFO. So that would cost $2,000 to get in the top 250. Does that make sense? Or am I am streaming?
No, I don't think that makes sense because you've shot like 3 very different numbers out on that $2,000. You started saying 250, top 250 is $2,000. Then you said 50, and then now you said 150.
Okay.
Are you scrolling down and actually looking at that, or are you doing some equation? Because there's no equation for that.
Well, $20,000 right now buys $4.25 billion tokens, and apparently that's the top 25. I have not confirmed that.
So you could look at like even Shaka's site and go to UFO and like, let's say a shark position. Like, what's a shark position in UFO cost? I think it's like $4,000 right now. And I think if you got a shark position, you would be in the top 150, and it's only $4,000. So then if you can lock those positions in now before the things revalue, and let's say you hodl, right? No one can ever take that position away from you. The code is literally making these positions more scarce and more scarce and more scarce. So it's actually rising in the ranks as time goes on. If we get adoption to PulseChain, if we get adoption to UFO, if we get adoption to pTGC, you could be part of a group that's only 150 people ever.
Yep.
Because there's only so many people that can become sharks and become dolphins, especially where a lot of the tokens lie already. Like the distribution's getting so good and so good. Like a lot of them are landing in the squid. Some of them are in whales that don't look like they're selling anything. Some of them are in sharks alongside you, and some of them are in dolphins alongside you. There's only so many of these positions that can really even exist. That if you can lock them in and then you can hodl them, no one can take that from you.
Yeah, man. Yep. Okay, 37 people on YouTube right now. And the comment section has been blowing up. You know what I did different? I figured it out. I knew I did something different, but I posted, and I always hesitate to do this because it hurts the algorithm. But look, it worked. I posted the YouTube link along with the post yesterday when I created all this content for the next 3 days, and clearly it worked. So shame on me for not having done this for the last 2 years.
I personally like us guiding the people to YouTube because I think the visuals are very important for users if they don't want to chime in and talk. If you want to chime in and talk, come on Spaces, right?
Yeah.
But if you're someone who's just listening and you want to chime in, but you want to do it with comments, like YouTube's for sure the place. And then the cool thing about that is then we're getting the views, which hopefully pushes you on YouTube. And everyone I talk to, the first place they start learning about cryptocurrency is on YouTube. It always takes, from my experience, for people to make their way to Twitter, it's like a year before they make their way to Twitter. So like, hey, where is these IRL people landing where they want to learn and be exposed to like actual good protocols, and they're trying to do their research? It's YouTube. And
yes,
we want to get in front of those type of people.
Yep. So just to clarify, Super Snake says place $5,000 at pTGC and UFO in an LP and scrape the fees. Sure. However, Just so you guys know, if you do make that LP, which needs to be done on the D app, if you're gonna LP any UFO for rewards from UFO, it must be done on goptgc.com or the old D app, not on PulseX. But if you pair pTGC and UFO, you're gonna pay the fee for each token going into that LP, and then you may as well keep it there if you do that, because you're going to pay that the 5 and 6% fee on exiting that LP also, just so you guys know.
I want to bring up that you do not need to LP UFO to get paid APY. You do not need to LP pTGC to get APY. Just having these tokens in your wallet, you're going to earn an APY in pTGC in UFO if you're fine earning in the token itself. If you LP them, you're going to earn in PLS, which some people like that. Some people like their APY thing in PLS because they feel like they could just do whatever with it. They could cash it out. They could go get a different token. They could DCA into pTGC or UFO. The optionality is just very much there. But I personally, like, no financial advice, I think it makes more sense if you have both of those tokens in your wallets. It makes sense to just hold them in your wallets because you're not going to pay a fee to go in. You're not going to pay a fee to go out of the LPs, which is just adding to your cost of earning. And you're going to earn an APY just with holding these in your wallet. And that's what's super cool about pTGC and UFO is you don't have to go into an LP pool where there's an impermanent loss. You are getting in contract to earn an APY. It's not a pTGC and UFO smart contract. It's the main PulseX smart contract, which we feel very, very confident about. It's battle-tested code that Richard pretty much for V2 style liquidity. But still a smart contract, but you get the PLP tokens in your wallet and you have self-custody of those PLP tokens. But you can actually just hold pTGC and UFO in your wallet and earn. And that's something super, super special that is very, very much not like tapped on in cryptocurrency, that you can keep self-custody of your tokens and get rewarded for holding them in your wallet. The majority of projects will actually take the custody away from you, and that puts you at risk. It puts the project at risk because you're putting pretty much everyone's funds in one pot. And then now hackers and stuff like that see that as like, wow, I can get into this one contract and get 100 people's funds or 1,000 people's funds instead of every piece of fund being separated and everyone.
Yeah, man. Extra Crypto asked, is there sorry, you cut out, so I just jumped in. He asked if there is a UFO WETH pair, and there is. It's about $19,000 in liquidity right now. And there's a question?
Yeah, you can't earn with it though. So whoever's doing that isn't earning any PLS. They're just doing it to do it. But
good point.
The farm itself, it's only the RH tokens and PDI. So if you want to earn PLS, you have to go into the specific farm tokens. But if you look at UFO, there's a lot more than just RH tokens in the liquidity web. There's that ETH pair, there's some meme tokens and stuff like that we're also generating revenue off of.
Yes. Mike asks, he says, may I ask, what would be the calculated value of a pTGC squid position if PDI pegged? Then what would, follow-up question, what would be the monthly APY look like on at that squid value? Wow. That's going to take a little bit of digging into.
So, Banana, I don't know if your chart will show this, but you can go to the pTGC pair with PDI, and it only shows up on specific time, like I think it's on the daily chart, and you can actually see this wick where there was some people say it was just a glitch in PulseChain or in DEX tools to where it started repricing PDI a lot higher. It didn't even get to $1. I think it like started repricing PDI to like 5 cents or 20 cents or something like that. But it's interesting to see on the chart because you can instantly see on the pTGC chart. I think pTGC revalued to like all-time highs within minutes. It just kind of shows you if those things do come true, how liquidity structures work is it's all about ratios. So if you're bonded to something that does a 50x, you're going to get that 50x in that pair. Obviously, AMM bots are going to fix pairs. So you wouldn't get that whole thing if all your other tokens didn't do something like that. But most likely if like, one token on this chain where everything's connected together goes up 50x, well, you're going to get a certain amount of x's from other things. And then what we can do is say, okay, well, if we get on average a 50x from the things we're bonded to, yes, maybe a specific token does a 200x, or let's say maybe we do a 200x or whatever, but let's say we get a 50x on average from our LPs. Well, we know then our LP will be 50x higher at least, most likely a lot more because we'll probably have our own individual growth in this event. And then at that point, you can then say, okay, if our LPs are 50x higher, then our volume can be 50x higher. So if our average volume is $50,000 a day, this is just, it's like 35 right now, but for fun. So let's do 50,000 and then you times by 50, you're at $2.5 million a day of volume on average. And then that would just be the new foundation if all those things held up. And then we could then build off of that new foundation to our next level and to our next level.
Do you remember when that spike up on PDI was?
It was like a year and a half ago. Are you on the pTGC PDI pair?
Yes, but I'm also going to search Grok to see if I can find out what the date was.
Are you on Dex Tools?
Dex Screener.
So I use Dex Tools. I literally just saw this yesterday because there was some trades going through PDI and it populated that I saw this pair trending, clicked at the pair and it reminded me of it. So I don't know if it popped up on Dex Screener, but it pops up on Dex Tools.
Is dextools.io or .com?
Yeah, IO.
Oh, I haven't been there in a long time.
I know we get used to the one we like to look at and never go to the other.
Yeah, plus I had to reset my entire computer, so I literally haven't been to Dex Tools with this operating system. So pTGC. Let me see. Here's the pTGC DAI pair.
So I think I was looking at it on the daily and it was obviously there. But you might need to click around in the different and zoom in and out. It sometimes populates, sometimes doesn't.
Sure. Yeah, it's gonna take me a minute. Let me see. Yeah. Was it perhaps in November 2020? No, not November 2024.
Could be. It's hard for me to remember, but it was back there.
Okay, well, it does say, Grok says, PDI reached its all-time high of 0.033 on that date, according to CoinGecko. This was a massive sudden surge compared to its typical trading range.
Yeah, no, that's not it. It wasn't like an all-time high like it naturally got there.
Right.
There was a glitch, and it spiked up there.
I know what you're talking about.
Minutes, yeah.
Yep.
But it's interesting to see what pTGC price does with just that glitch, right? And that glitch wasn't even to $1 or anything. It was just like, I forget where it got to, but it shows that if there was a revaluation of PDI or anything, right? This could be any token on chain that goes up in price. I think a lot of people like thinking about PDI because they have the idea in their head that it one day could just revalue overnight. the pegging. But my point is, if that scenario ever comes true, you can see right there on the chart, pTGC's entire value would change within a split second. The whole entire system's value. So, you know, for us, like, obviously, I think we can root on other things for our own success because we'd drastically be rewarded, but also we're not dependent on it, right? Like, we will be successful with or without those situations. And that's how I kind of look at it. Like, hey, we look at ourselves and we look at what we can do specifically to our protocol to make sure our community is successful in any environment that comes further on or forward on PulseChain in the future. If that's PulseChain rocking, alt tokens rocking, meme tokens rocking, Ethereum rocking, like, we're trying to make it to where we win in any scenario that plays out here. We win.
Yep, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. I'm gonna ask in college chat what was that date. Then when it spiked up, because now I'm on a hunt to find that. That'll be a fun illustration.
I'll see if I can find it, because I literally just saw it yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate you guys on YouTube. 44 people, Zen, 44 people on. Well, no, 29. I'm sorry. They rotate it sometimes because I can look at I go hover over the eyeball and it'll show YouTube and then X, and sometimes it flips it. I was excited because there were like 44 people on YouTube. No, those are on X. 44 people watching on X and 29 on YouTube, which is, dude, we're usually in the teens. Like, there'll be like 12 to 16 people on YouTube. So we're a solid double on YouTube. So, like I was saying earlier, man, I am definitely going to be popping everything on X, even if it's a link to this stream on Saturday, because obviously people show up, and that's going to help. That is going to help as we go into the next cycle, whenever that happens. And you guys, you know, Zen and I are just up here chatting, but you are more than welcome to jump in and make comments or ask questions. We don't need to run the show. The show is for you guys. Well, Zen looks up that spike. So how many people? Yeah, we got 44 people on. Well, how many people on Spaces? There's like 16, 21 people on Spaces. Literally. There's Charles. Do your own research. pTGC for the win. Charles is in the house. I'm tempted to call Shaka Vibe's new calculator, the one that you built, Zen, the calculator on pTGC-UFO. That is the Charles Do Your Own Research calculator. Because as soon as I saw this and I looked at the results, he came to mind. So this right, the 10-year projection calculator could have a subtitle, Charles Do Your Own Research's calculator. He is very vocal about where he thinks pTGC is going. And he and I are pretty much in alignment on that.
Okay, yeah, so I found it on Dex Tools on the die chart. I'll just send you a screenshot of it. You can see on the left side of the screen where that spike up is. It spiked up all the way to 0.004.
You said pTGC spiked up to 0.004?
Yeah.
Okay. That would exceed our previous all-time high.
Send you a picture of it.
Okay. I'll look for that in Telegram, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you should be like, I just found it on my phone and I saw it on the main chart. You just have to make sure you go to Dex Tools and go to the actual PDI chart, the one with like 60,000 of LP, and then you go to daily and it shows it right there.
Okay, let me make sure I'm on the right chart. I'm at one that has that can't be right.
Yeah, you're in, I think, probably just a little random pair that's there. The easiest way to get to the right chart, go to Shaka's site and scroll to the bottom where it shows all the pairs, and then you hit the little box that has like the 3 bars. So that'll take you to Dex Tools link.
Okay, cool. I'll get there in a second. Yeah, and that is our most productive. It's interesting that we're talking about this today. Thank you, Michael, for bringing it up, because that is our most productive pair right now, with $5,500 in volume versus its liquidity of $62,000. The next most productive pair is the PulseX pair. And okay, I think so. I'm on ptgc-ufo.com. I'm looking at the ptgc die pair. I think I can just click on one of these links over to Dex Tools or Dex Screen.
Yeah, it's the one with the 3 bars. It's the furthest right one.
Okay.
Like the 3 bars stacked up next to each other. That'll take you right to the link.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this one has, $62,000 in liquidity. Let's see. I'll wait for that image. He says, China LeJames asks, Banana, may I ask, if there's an off chance PulseChain doesn't succeed, would pTGC still be okay because we are tied with Ethereum? Oh, I'll let you answer that, Zen. Well, let me start it out. We can succeed outside of PulseChain. We just got to, PulseChain is just our place to run. You know, it's our chain to reside on. We have to be on a chain.
Yeah, I think there's a level of success, right? Or a level of not success. So when you say, like, if it doesn't succeed, what is the level of not success? I think we've been very successful with the chain going down 95% from sacrifice price. A lot of people would say that is a form of non-success, and I think we're still doing quite well considering. And I personally believe we're coming close to finding bottoms on these things and starting to make our way upwards. Look what we've been able to do from when this launched to now in a chain that's gone down 95%. Just imagine if the chain just stayed flat, right? That's a better scenario than we've been in for the last 2.5 years. So I think we could be very successful. I personally don't think PulseChain stays at these prices forever, even if it's considered not successful, right? Like, I think a lot of people would consider PulseChain not truly successful as far as a price action standpoint goes if it stays below a tenth of sacrifice price where we are right now. But I think we're proving that you can be successful even in this environment, and we're making steps in the right direction. Right now, I'm looking at just crypto as a whole. Like, we need crypto as a whole. We need Ethereum to kind of make its way upwards again. And I think that's going to wake PulseChain up. And I think, now we also have that large ETH pair that is obviously going to be a hedge against being only PulseChain driven. Now we also are guided by the success of Ethereum as well, with the goal in the future to broaden the liquidity web to other things, such as stable coins, such as wrap Bitcoin, etc., making this diversification of not only PulseChain tokens, but legacy tokens as well. But yeah, if he's saying like PulseChain literally stops running and like validators leave and just it pretty much dies, which I don't think there's ever going to be a possibility of it truly dying. There will always be a value to it to an extent, you know, obviously a value that a lot of people aren't happy with is possible, but I think it will be running forever. And I think prices will be better here soon too. I think we're just in a situation like the bear market blues. And when bear markets come and when prices are down, you feel like things maybe aren't going to go back up, but they do. Things go back up. Crypto has always pushed back up. Right now is the opportunity to build your bags, not let go of your bags. Yes. And I think we have to just understand that right now we're in a bear market. And when you're in a bear market, it feels bad. And like even last cycle, the cycle before, you see all the people come out and say, oh, Bitcoin is done or Ethereum is done. And guess what? It's never been done. It's just getting started. We just started getting the adoption we've been looking for. PulseChain, I don't think PulseChain's ever been stronger. Obviously not in price, obviously not in volume, obviously not in community, but the potential to do exits from here are massive compared to the potential to do exits from sacrifice price. So if you're here for gains and price appreciation, we have the best opportunity in front of us right now.
Absolutely.
So did you end up finding that?
You haven't sent the message yet. You were going to send me an image.
Oh, I thought
you could just give me. Oh, there we go. Oh, do you know what date that is?
Oh,
it's prior to July 20. I can't tell what year that is.
So
must be 25.
That is November 20th.
Oh, wow.
2024.
Yeah. Okay. I think I can sort by a certain date.
Well, I don't know why you'd need to do that. Do you have the chart up in front of you?
Yep.
Okay, and you're on the daily?
Yes.
Daily candles?
Yep.
It should just populate for you. I don't know why it would populate.
I see it. What? Oh, wow. Yo, that is in. Yeah, I don't see this on Dex screener. I see it on Dex tools. That is enormous. What in the world?
Yeah,
man?
so ultimately it was just a price glitch, but
yeah,
it gave an idea of if those things do happen, those are kind of the revaluation things that could happen with pTGC based on how standard AMM, like standard V2 style liquidity works. It's all ratio based. It's really simple to like break down. If you have, pDI in one side of the pair, I'm going to use pDI for example because it's the one people like to hear about. You have pDI on one side of the pair, and then you have pTGC on the other side of the pair. And pDI overnight revalues by 200x. And let's say one pDI was one pTGC. Well, automatically, pTGC technically revalues by that same 200x because one pTGC is one pDI. Again, if your other pairs don't revalue that much, there's now arbitrage opportunity and stuff like that, and then you'll start fixing pairs. But we generate revenue off of all those things. Everything on chain in a way is connected to the pDI already, like PLS. So you would get gains elsewhere as well, and then things would start to fix itself. And that it's just that example I think kind of just shows users like if there is something like that happens, the pTGC community will massively benefit off of a situation like that, but we're not dependent on a situation like that.
Yes. Yeah, that would be wow. I don't know what's the. I'm going to look at the percentage on that one. 1,200%. It went up 1,200%. I wonder what the time frame was on that. Wonder if anybody able to, was able to trade that. Wow. Probably not.
I don't think it's a tradable event because it was just a price glitch, right? It just said an unrealistic number temporarily. I believe that's what happened. I could be completely wrong, but this is 2 years ago. We're talking about them going off of memory. But I just thought it was an interesting thing that happened, and you can just see, because that price glitch happened on PDI, you can see that price glitch happen within pTGC because of the bonded liquidity and the ratios. If this goes up this, you also go up that, because if it's 2 to 1, 5 to 1, 10 to 1, whatever your ratio is, it's always going to be that ratio until arbitrage bots start to fix it.
Yes.
Which is awesome for our unique system because we generate revenue off of arbitrage bots. Most tokens do not. So most tokens lose value to arbitrage bots because when you give an arbitrage bot an opportunity, you are giving them your money, right? That's one thing a lot of people don't realize is money isn't just made out of thin air. It has to come from somewhere. So when an arbitrage bot is fixing A to B, they're making money off of those specific liquidity pairs because of price differences. With our system, we make value off of those price differences and then push it to the specific token. 99.9% of tokens make no value off of these arbitrage opportunities. The only thing they're doing is giving the value to the arbitrage bot.
Yep. Did you see the comment earlier this week about, somebody made the suggestion that Richard Hart start his own podcast or, whatever it was, where he's interviewing people. And then Richard Hart replied to that post. It was on X. He replied to that post and he's like, something like, interesting idea or whatever he said. I want to say it was like three letters.
He said true. Yeah.
Yeah. TRU. Yeah. I wonder if he had never thought of that. And I wonder if he's actually going to do it. Because I agree 100%. That would put him in control. And he loves to be in control. And I think it would be epic.
So he kind of already was doing that just with his own YouTube channel, not like a podcast scenario where people actually show up at like a legit studio and you sit across from them. Like when he was doing his streams, like it was almost podcast style. He would have a guest and they would just dual stream on his channel and they would stream on their channels and they would pretty much do it like, live debate. But it wasn't like he was just going on a bunch of other people's channels constantly. There was a lot of times, especially in the earlier days, before Hex was running, to where he would just have live debates with people, and it would be specifically on his own channel. But yeah, I think it would be super cool if one day there was a studio set up that Richard had, very similar to the biggest names in cryptocurrency. Obviously, this is what users like to see. And with that studio, he invited people to it. Obviously, he didn't invite people to the studio he had, which was his house, where he had his own little streaming setup. But if he had a public studio, a public, storefront of some kind, where he could invite other big names to, or mid-sized names, and those mid-sized names would bring their communities in, and then people would then, intermingle communities. Like Richard would then get their followers would, or Richard's followers would maybe follow these people, depending on what they're talking about. And, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think overall what the success of that would come from is just having Richard back, right? I think having Richard back would be a massive catalyst to the success of PulseChain. I personally believe PulseChain with Richard back and PulseChain without Richard back are completely two different things. Two different prices, two different environments. I lean on the side of I would love to have him back to extent of his marketing and his network to getting PulseChain in front of new faces and new eyeballs. But, there's always the potential that he never comes back the way he used to be. And maybe that comes with just now that he's a founder of a blockchain instead of just a token, right? I think that has a little bit more pressure and a little bit more risk involved. But I believe he will come back, and I think it's going to be a huge catalyst for this chain and for this next bull run.
Yeah. He's playing the market. He's timing it. He knows and the effect it'll have on his chain and his assets. So I'm asking Claude how much capital, because I'm using the calculator, the latest calculator, but I kind of want to get an idea, how much capital people are bringing into crypto in like an upcycle on average, because we have all this speculation. And I asked,
how much capital did you bring into crypto, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't mind. So this would be 2021 when I bought the top. It was in the neighborhood of probably 25 to 40,000.
I'd say that's pretty average.
I'm going to ask Claude. I asked ChatGPT. I asked.
There's a difference about the amount of money a user can bring in a bull market compared to a bear market.
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge difference. People find ways to bring money in a bull market.
I'll be right back, man.
Okay. Colin, did you have something?
Hey, what's up, Zen? How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm feeling great. Wonderful. I'm at work. Thank you, man. Happy Saturday to you, man. Many blessings. But I kind of wanted to dabble into that question about the one guy in Prairie's live stream when he talked about, the success of PulseChain, vice versa, what would happen to pTGC, right? It was a concept video that I was supposed to have been in made, but I've been extremely busy. But this is my thing, right? When it comes to PulseChain, it's a copy of Ethereum, and we all know that. Everything works. Everything was meant to be what it is right now. So a lot of people got to go back to the past and pull out the facts when it comes to what PulseChain was meant to do. Now, with Richard, he's possibly one of the most smartest people on this earth, including Zen. Okay? And so when it comes to life, you got to look at it like everybody is a character playing their role. And even us as the holders, that's what we're doing. And nothing is going to change. It's all developing right before our eyes. Now, with Richard being a rumored billionaire, right, in Bitcoin and Ethereum, well, what does that lead to for someone that's that smart and has that much money? They want to become a trillionaire. They want to join their friends like Elon and, Michael Saylor and whoever else. So the potential of PulseChain is far beyond our belief, right? This is not buying and selling advice, but you just got to go into depth of it because the chain is phenomenal. And you got, would Richard actually give up at this point in time of his chain a copy of Ethereum in a yes or no fashion, right? Just to make it plain and simple. I don't think he would, because even if he did, anybody at this point in time, especially someone like Zen or any other major product like Internet Money Wallet, can pick the chain up and take it to a whole nother level. We got Liberty Swap as well. Look what they're doing. So there is never going to be a point in time to where anyone can ever doubt PulseChain being successful, because it's just too much stuff being built right now. I don't know if they looking at it just from the price standpoint, but when you look at the devs, they're all cracked. If you ain't never heard of that version of a cracked dev, that's like the coldest motherfudger in the space building. So Look at it like that. Like, you just getting in on the best deal that you can possibly ever get into. So why would Richard want to let go of a copy of Ethereum, and he just launched ProveX, on and off ramp directly into PulseChain, right? Still beta testing. And not only that, it's paired up with stable coins. So take a look back at the last 2 or 3 streams that Banana did. And then we have Zen, prime example, saying, hey, man, and Mondo saying, hey, man, if we would have just paired up with a stable coin, it would have been a whole lot better, right? So it's like you got all these facts coming at you, but you're not taking them in and writing it down. Like, you got to take notes. Like, so, I mean, why would anybody say, you know, like, why wouldn't PulseChain be successful after everything that has happened, after all the people that have came and that are still here building? Like, look at it from a developer standpoint, or just put yourself in somebody else's
community standpoint, right? Like, not even
True.
only the developer standpoint, but PulseChain has the best organic community in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I remember when we had waited a good amount of time and PulseChain hadn't been delivered yet. And then ETH came out of nowhere with that twist of going to proof of stake much faster. And Richard had to make that decision to move away from the spaghetti code and then re-uptake a brand new, you know, a whole brand new thing to get us onto the new Ethereum chain that was actually going to be implemented. And that was the best move he ever made, because he knew that Ethereum is silver to Bitcoin's gold. And he knew that it was the only true decentralized system for any kind of legitimate, you know, deliverables in terms of like real world and real life stuff, which is happening now. And when Ethereum goes to $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a token, and people start to realize that PulseChain's actually the same damn thing, essentially, it just doesn't have the bells and whistles because it's behind in terms of like the Ether scans and the things like that. But it's the same thing, and it can uptake every single EIP. Him moving PulseChain to an exact system state fork, we could have done without the full system state, obviously, because that brought some things. But the fact that we have a true copy of Ethereum before Ethereum kind of goes to the next level. Well, what happens when Ethereum goes to the next level? People start looking for, okay, well, what's an alternative to Ethereum? You know, so I'm just kind of speaking to what you're saying, man. There's a future ahead of us that we know nothing about.
Yeah, man, and you know, it's incredible. Like, I don't know how people get lost in the sauce and they forget. And I think that's due to like adoption. They don't see a lot of people in the space talking about it, but that's not what it's about. It's not always about following the trend. It's about making your own wave. But slowly and surely, that will happen over time. PulseChain will not be ignored forever. So we're just early. We're so early that I don't even know how to describe it. Like, we're just so early. We're ahead of the curve, and so you guys just got to be like patient. If you got a 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying, or a hobby, just continue doing what you're doing and continue to invest. And then think about this. Look at Crypto Coffee. Look at Sami. Look how hard they go shilling PulseChain. Why are they so good? And they started small in the very beginning, and now they're at the level of where they are. We even have B Roots and Ian, you know? These guys have grown in the space so much, and just them having it on their platforms in the future, like I always say, when PulseChain becomes popular, that content is going to get so many views. It's going to go beyond our imagination. So you simply holding like 12 million posts, that could be worth millions of dollars. And who knows at what point of time, like, what else is going to happen? NFA, DYOR, all right? But it's happening, you guys. Just give it time, you know? Have you a nice bag of different blue chips. And if you believe in PulseChain after you do all your research and you like the products that you're buying, you know, I look at it like this. Like, I'm parking my money here just for future price potential because I believe. I don't know why I believe so hard. I don't know why I like all of y'all so much. But I do. And it's never going to change. So I've been in PulseChain for 2 years, right? After the sacrifice phase, trying to learn crypto, being financially illiterate. And now I'm at this point, man, I'm not letting go, bro. It's only up from here. You know what I'm saying? We done been through the flash crashes. We done been through all the other projects that in copycatted pTGC. Think about it right now. Look what they're doing with ProveX. They're copycatting pTGC because it's just that goddamn powerful, man. You know what I'm saying? They want to make up the reflection tokens. It's just not going to work as good. But yeah, man, that's all I pretty much had to say, man. Thank y'all for allowing me to come up. I'm still at work. I'll be getting off in a few minutes, but I will be enjoying the chat.
Love the energy, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You go, Helen.
It's my ADHD, man. It's constantly
Trust me,
picking
that
at me.
that ain't ADHD, man. That's just straight up alpha.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Mondo.
Yeah, keep ADHD in, man. I love that.
I will, Banana.
That's actually what builds communities right there is conviction, brother. It's conviction. You can't build communities. You can't build anything without conviction.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Who else wants to come up and chat? Charles, do your own research, says, I love this guy. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody made the comment that they wish Richard Hart would give us the roadmap. And Richard Hart has never given a roadmap. Well, he's alluded to stuff. And they chalked it up as part of the no expectations. Yeah, agreed. Good point, John.
Well, Richard did say this much. You know, he said exchanges and developers, you know, make money. And so you could just look at the most successful projects built in the entire space. So, like, if you want a roadmap, it's on you. That's why he created PulseChain. He told us multiple times, hey, I built this for y'all. Yeah. I want to meet multiple millionaires. And he did. Oh man, oh my gosh, bro. I'm so happy I get to say this. I'm so glad this just like popped up into my head right now. So when people say, oh, Richard's gonna come back for his glory, it's just like, bro, he's always been glorious. Look at what he's done. Look at the BTC he has. Look at the ETH that he still brags about today, and how many people he clowned in the space. You know, tell him, hey, bro, you still trying to catch up. I was mining BTC for free. You know what I'm saying? I was minting Ethereum out of a faucet. I don't even know what that is, right? But I get the dialect. Okay? So, and then not only that, like, let's add this on to it. When he said he wanted to mint millions of millionaires and people keep saying, oh, he's going to come back for his glory. Bro, he did it with Hex one time, right? On Ethereum. And then he turned around, forked ETH in spite, saying, hey, I could do whatever I want to. I got enough money. I got that FU money. That's what he said, right? And he bragged and he boasts. And then he stand 10 toes down. A real good stand-up guy, man. I love Richard Hart. But not only did he do it one time, not only did he mint millionaires on Ethereum with Hex, but then he also gave them copies on PulseChain, which made them millionaires once again. He did it twice. He did it twice, bro. And he's going to do it again. How, when, and what? He's he's gonna do it with, I don't know. All right. And when I say, man, I honestly like don't care. It's not to the point to where I don't care about making money or getting rich or anybody else doing it. But I'm not as concerned because I feel like personally for me, right? I gotta speak for myself. I can't, everybody out there, y'all gotta do y'all own research, bro. I feel like he's gonna do it again. I feel like it's gonna happen again, whether it's organic, and the charts slowly go up, but he's gonna mint more millionaires. Look at the token supply. Look how many tokens you can get. Look at everything that he said. Hey man, look, people like the fact that they can have this many tokens because it makes them feel like it's rich. So everything he talked about, everything he did, it's already happened and it's gonna happen again, bro.
Yeah.
Even if it's through another protocol, even if it's through possibly pTGC and UFO, that's something that can happen. You know what I'm saying? They're the best amplifiers in the space, and everybody owes it to pTGC and UFO. And this is coming from me personally because they're holding up the cores. They're never selling. The LP pools are locked. Like, what are they gonna do? It's checkmate. I say this throughout all my posts. Everybody else that's in pTGC say it. Like, you guys, bro, y'all, like, man, how do you not get it? Like, what is your IQ? What is your GPA at this point in time? Like, really ask yourself, do you know how this stuff works? Can you go on the blockchain and look at the contract and actually be able to reciprocate it? You know? And then from there, hold on to that because that's a fact. There is no debating that. You know, oh man, can I vent, boys? Like, man, the characters, huh?
I was going to say, before you do the vending, I wanted to chime into one thing before we keep going on the roadmap idea. There's no formal roadmap, but I think Richard's left some clues along the way. If you go through his streams, one that always stands out to me is the one he had with Eric Wall. I forget where he was. They're on this little stage and they're having an open debate. And Richard talks about how via sacrifice phase, you could take in other tokens like Ethereum or Bitcoin or other assets that large amounts of value go into, like institutions, companies are going into Ethereum right now. And he was talking about how all you have to do is be patient and wait for those tokens to revalue. And the amount of capital that you can push into your smaller ecosystem can alone get the adoption and get the growth that you need. And you don't even need new users to come in because all you did was you held the token that you knew users were going to go into. And then you were just patient enough to transfer the value over to your specific token. And I feel like that wasn't necessarily a roadmap, but a very clue of like how Richard's mind works. And it aligns very well with like where we are right now on PulseChain, and what tokens he's holding, right? If I had to guess, I think there is a roadmap in his own head that he isn't willing to just keep laying out over and over. But by studying his previous, videos, that's a valid strategy, right? You know that companies, institutions, governments are building and buying Ethereum right now. Are they buying PulseChain? No, they're not buying PulseChain, let's be honest. So one of the best things he can do is patiently wait for them to pump the price up of these assets, and then he can literally move that value right over here. But if he doesn't have the ETH, it doesn't work. And I personally think that was a pretty basic example of what part of the plan is for PulseChain. That doesn't include like any new features or like what ProveX is going to offer, but specifically to like the value that Richard has. I think that's a roadmap, personally. And yeah, some people want us to be updated with the idea every single week via a post or a stream. But I just don't think the idea has changed. So he doesn't feel like it's necessary to just keep reminding everyone and holding their hand through the process. Keep going. Sorry, I wanted to get that out before we kept moving on.
Yeah. He might be at work. Well, he is at work, but he might be tied up at work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My fault. I thought I unmuted. Yeah, that was great. Everything you said was 100% accurate, man. And it's always good to interject. And that's just even more alpha for everybody that's in PulseChain and pTGC, because no matter what you hold when it comes to the cores and pTGC and UFO, it just seems like it's going to work. It's like you can't possibly go wrong when it comes to the tokenomics. So, you know, you guys, you just got to believe and find your own conviction, because it's possible. You know, it's endless possibilities. So just, you know, take care.
Yeah, look where conviction got Bitcoin and Ethereum. Conviction is what got them there. And look at what they've gone from to. They've gone from literally such beginning stages, grassroots. Cryptocurrency wasn't even a thing. Like when they were onboarding, their only option was onboarding IRL people. There wasn't already massive amounts of crypto users that they could tap into. They literally had to onboard an IRL person one at a time. And then you look at where they're at today, they literally have governments, institutions buying Bitcoin. You have ETFs. You have literally the most adoption you could ever imagine happening right now. You have Clarity Act coming out. Like, you literally are getting the most adoption to cryptocurrency. And that was because they had conviction 15 years ago.
Yep. 12 years ago, it took a long time. I wish I would have paid more attention. I would have been wealthy. But yeah, man, it's all good. And you know, another thing I wanted to branch out, man, because you know, I seen a couple people come up to the space these past couple of days, and they always do, but I look at them as like imposters, you know. pTGC and UFO are great assets, and I've been slowly DCing in, and like I saved my portfolio. You know, when PulseChain went down, I just swapped out all my cores. Literally, I got a little bit of Pulse, about like $200, and I put that into pTGC and UFO, and it's worked out phenomenally, at least for me. This is not buying and selling advice for anybody else. Y'all, please find your own strategy. Never copy trade me. All right, I'm a risk taker. I'm a DJ. I do have a career. You know, I drive 18-wheelers. I'm at work right now. So, you know, do what's best for you. But all I'm saying is, like, man, there's so many ideas in my head. You know, yeah, the imposters, like, I tend not to pay them any attention. You know, either they're upset about the bag that they didn't get early on, or the fact that they're pumping somebody else's bags. But at the end of the day, I'm still get rewarded. And it's more rewarding than anything else in PulseChain as of right now. And my portfolio is a prime example of that. So that's what I wanted to say when I wanted to vent.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone has to kind of come up with their own plan that fits their specific needs, you know, their own life situations, and take action on it. Right now, we have a complete reset to an extent in Ethereum, with PulseChain, with pTGC. Everyone can look at their own portfolios and kind of make their adjustments and get ready for this coming bull cycle. I do think bull cycles, as far as like price appreciation goes, is probably going to get less and less. It's like this very well could be like the last big alt season or bull run for cryptocurrency. And right now you have the time to kind of put the value in the places you think are going to succeed. In cryptocurrency, not all ships make it to the promised land. The majority of them crash along the way and are just gone forever. So use this time to kind of figure out where the best place to put your value is on the ships that you believe are going to make it to the end, the end game. And I personally believe Richard is going to make sure that his chain gets there. Like Mando was talking about earlier, at one point, we're at a fork in the road. Do we start from scratch and, fork Ethereum 2.0, or do we just keep working with what we already had? And he obviously made the decision to switch. And that doesn't sound like someone who doesn't have a long-term game plan. That does sound like someone that has a long-term game plan. That doesn't sound like someone that just wanted to get a blockchain live to collect the sacrifice. If he just cared about making it live and letting it die, there'd be really no reason in even doing that. And a lot of the other things, the fact that he's worrying about on and off ramps and obviously slapping tokens to it that a lot of people didn't like, but he is someone that believes that having a token slapped on the side of something makes it more valuable and brings more people to it. So we have to take trust in what he believes works. He believes works, and that's how he wants to do it. If you don't believe that way, you have all the right to build something yourself. And I just, like you said, all the signs show that there is a plan. He does plan on being successful. It just sadly doesn't happen when you want it to a lot of times. And use this time to kind of really figure out what you need to do to take advantage and to win in this coming cycle. And that's what all of us can do. And, I hope that in everyone who's listening and everyone on PulseChain, at least consider putting a small portion at least of your bag in pTGC and UFO. I think it's shown to be one of the strongest alt tokens on chain. If you are considering any alt tokens, I think they're worth considering, because last cycle alt tokens on the chain were a massive place to get gains over your RH bags. And even if it's just a small part of your portfolio, someone was saying that in the last spaces, like, what's 3%, 5% of what value you have on chain? What's the big deal of bringing that over to pTGC? If pTGC does what it did last cycle, let's say you brought over 10% of your PLS. If pTGC did what it did last cycle, you would have gotten with just that 10%, you would have more than doubled your bag. You would have literally 10x your entire bag by just moving 10% of your PLS over instead of just sitting only in PLS. Not saying that that's guaranteed to happen again, but I think it's the nice thing about having a protocol that has history is you can look at what people have done at the past at what points. And if you did that at the bottom of last cycle for PulseChain, you very much could have just brought over 10% of your bag and massively increased your bag for that bull run, giving you pivotability, opportunity that a lot of other people don't have. Not to mention APY throughout the whole next bear market and throughout the whole bull market and so on and so forth, instead of just having capital not doing anything for you in your wallet.
Yep. It just continuously generates value. And as a working man, I greatly appreciate it. I sleep well at night. Yeah, man. It's incredible. I'm thankful. That's one thing I can say for, everybody. And personally, I just can't wait to do more things when it comes to pTGC. Promo wise, look at the people that all the eyes that we have on it and how many people pay attention to it. Like Zen said, like Mondo said, it lives in their head rent free, bro. And that's because it's just massive and it's doing exactly what it needs to do. And for someone that's a smaller holder, I will never regret loading up on these times right now. This has been a huge benefit to me. I just can't wait. I can't wait till my bag is sitting at a 10x floor, a 30x floor, a 40x floor, over time, obviously. but this is a great opportunity for everybody out there. Man, what was it? What else was on my mind, man? I'm over here driving and stuff, but yeah, bro. I'll tune in and give y'all a piece of my mind when I figure it out.
I appreciate you coming up and adding to the conversation, though.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Thank you. I used to always be shy, you know what I'm saying, speaking up in the space. Oh, one more thing. When it comes to Richard and the talks about him going on, like, I know he did interviews in the past, right? But at one point in time, he was like, he wanted to get ideas about Prove X, right? And rewarding people, and, you know, Shield Gates won. But I was someone in his comment section on my gaming profile, and I suggested the Joe Rogan show.
Mm-hmm.
And then multiple people posted about it. And I never got my credit for that. So I will be coming for my credit, Richard. Okay? I know I didn't delete the post. I know it's still up, and I'm going to find it, man. So any point of time you want to give me some type of high five and pTGC. And that's another thing, man. If he goes on the show, right, I hope that he illustrates that, you know, Peacock, Internet Money Wallet, you know, all the good projects, man. That way we could get some light shined on to what we're doing. It would be spectacular and greatly appreciated. So, Richard, man, if you're listening, thank you. We love you, and I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah, I think we also have to kind of just put that on us. Obviously, a shout out or just putting pTGC in front of other users that currently don't know, like, that's great for us. But I also look at, like, other chains, and projects on other chains have been massively successful without needing a shout out or a pat on the back from the founders themselves. Like, our success, as far as specific to our protocol, I think is on us. You know, from Richard's standpoint, like, right now, I'm just rooting on him marketing his own products to an extent. I would be super thankful if he came out and started talking about his own product again, because I know what that's going to do for pTGC and UFO due to the liquidity webs. As far as getting a shout out by him to pTGC, we really don't need it, right? Like, I believe our community is strong enough. Our code is strong enough. And if he ever starts getting his tokens going in the right direction, we're going to benefit more off of that than his shout out could ever, because we know what that will mechanically do for our system as far as value generation, price appreciation, APY, deflation, and LP ads.
I agree.
Anything else on YouTube, Banana?
Hexy Trucker is asking, how many is a dolphin position for pTGC? It's $2,200 for a dolphin position. And why is UFO more liquid than?
Do you have anything else on YouTube, Banana? You're muted right now.
I'm sorry. Hexy Trucker asks, how much for a dolphin position in pTGC? That's $2,200. And then he asks, why is UFO more liquid than pTGC?
More liquid as far as having more liquidity, or more liquid as far as more UFO inside of the LP?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would assume more liquidity.
Yeah. So UFO has more liquidity because that liquidity, pretty much UFO is a farm. So you're incentivized via rewards to provide liquidity to the UFO system. And that's ultimately why it has more liquidity, because it's not just protocol owned liquidity like pTGC. 100% of pTGC's liquidity is protocol owned, and majority of it burned. But UFO is 100% community provided. So all of that community is owned by all of that liquidity is owned by the community itself.
Yes. Yep. George Reed says, I love pTGC, but I can't stand PulseChain. I just thought that was funny. That's a good one. Well, let's turn that around
That is
for
a
you,
good
George.
one.
Yeah, let's turn that around for you, George. He wishes pTGC was on ETH. John Wallace wishes pTGC was on ETH. Well, it would have had to been deployed on ETH long ago for it to have had the chance that it has on PulseChain. So
Yeah, it's crazy to think of the advantage early protocols on ETH have over protocols launching now. Like ultimately, like a completely unfair advantage, and we obviously believe we have that unfair advantage right now on PulseChain. With the revaluation of PulseChain, how far we're ahead of everything else is just absolutely amazing. You know, if we just even get PulseChain back to sacrifice price, we could very easily be sitting on $20 million of liquidity within the web.
yep.
Hey guys, I have someone blowing up my phone now. Yeah, we could very easily have, if you add them up, $40 million of liquidity and generating possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars a week in revenue generation. Like it's an advantage that when prices are low, where we are right now, it's difficult. And you seem like, oh, I wish we were here. But once that revaluation takes place, if that revaluation takes place, it turns into a situation that you can't just make up. You can't force that opportunity. You can barely even ever find those opportunities. And if we played our cards right and we get that revaluation, we're going to be so far ahead of everything else.
Yeah, man. Yep. Well, what else is happening, guys, ladies and gentlemen? What's happening? Isn't it the holiday weekend this weekend?
It is.
Okay. Yep. There's nothing on YouTube. Make sure I hit this starred question. I did. Okay. Anybody else have any comments? 26 people on YouTube. Impressive for a Saturday. Oh, and I wanted to say this earlier. Keep boosting the algorithm, guys, on our Twitter posts. Anybody that posts about pTGC or UFO, always make a comment if you can. Those comments are gold. Liking them is great. That's all you can do, but commenting is much more effective for the algorithm. So get in the habit, if you would, of making comments on those X posts now, and then as we run up, whenever that happens, you'll have a good habit set in place that will be effective, I think, for the Grays Currencies marketing as we go into that next cycle. Because the more we boost the algorithm on a pTGC post, the more X will promote that post to other people on X. And we're trying to reach people on X. And some of those people that it's going to get pushed to don't hold pTGC yet. So it's important to make comments and interact on X. Backwards Hat Dad has a question. When are we going to get camo colored pTGC hoodies? Okay, Backwards Hat Dad. You must be a hunter.
think that was him volunteering to make them.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head there, Zan. Yeah, you design it, and maybe we can submit it to the store. Well, man, I'm not opposed to.
I'm ready to go if you're ready to go. We've been going 2 hours.
Yeah, I got other things to do, besides crypto. So we can. This is what's great about crypto, especially the Grays currencies, is we can go do something else, and our Grays currencies is just keep on cooking, keep on providing that APY. Yeah, man.
Sweet. Yeah. So, just a, I guess, reminder before we go, prices are cheap. If you want to onboard or DCA, you're getting some pretty low prices. And on top of that, if you're using the affiliate system, when you onboard people, when prices are cheap, that means your reward is more tokens for your portion for onboarding them. So if you can't DCA yourself, but you want more tokens in your wallet, by onboarding new users through the affiliate system, you're getting them in at a good price. You're helping push the price up of pTGC. It's better to onboard people at lows than at highs. And then also what you're earning is a higher quantity of tokens based on their entry. So, take advantage of it if you're onboarding and get those free rewards into your wallet pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you guys need help, Banana has videos on how to set that stuff up and send people links. So if you need help setting it up, ask Banana and I, we'll send you the video to help you set it up.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, and I'll be streaming tomorrow too, guys, at 1 p.m. Pacific. And the stream that I do is mostly for new people. So if you got a buddy, or if you are new that is, coming in, just got their bags, whatever, send them over to my stream. I walk people through the entire ecosystem.
Awesome. All right, guys. Talk later. See ya.
Okay. Thanks for hosting, Zen.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming up, guys.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Okay, you too. Bye.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another, I'll see it backwards at that. ProveX is in a slow decline. Well, of course, it just launched. Oh, man. Another pTGC X stream in the books. Consistency is, we're going to crush it, guys. We're going to crush it. Everybody knows that we hold spaces twice a week. Well, not everybody, but they're going to find out. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a good weekend. Go touch grass. Go do something fun. You're welcome, Polygon. It's good to see you. Have a good weekend, guys. See ya.